I was just watching a TikTok of a creative that was thinking about, so if I send like an email, can I send it with an audio? Can I just like wrap my email? I mean, like, yo, please find attached, like, you know, and like, you see, that kind of mind needs to be nurtured and not suppressed. So, traction has moved from influencers and content creators to founders. The founders are the new influencers because the audience has asked, who is behind this beautiful piece that I have in my home? Which has now tasked the founders to step up and say, I'm the founder, this is how I started, these are the challenges. And that kind of makes people fall in love with you more because then you've given us like a more humane story as opposed to buy one, get one free. I was a communications student from Makere University, you know. At the point of internship, I applied to like Uganda's top advertising agencies. Top. All of them, all of you guys, I applied to your organization. Please. I did to get an internship opportunity. And it's because I was trying to put myself out there. I put an application at MAD, I put an application at Saladin, at Fireworks. I did apply, all in the name of, can someone just open the door, right? I didn't get the internship at any of those agencies, right? I ended up at Uganda Revenue Authority in a very traditional communication department. And at that point, I learned a very important value that I share with my teams today, that when you go for interviews, the person interviewing is trying to gauge if you're the right fit for the organization. But that part shift is equally important. You need to also gauge if the organization is the right fit for you. I may not agree with your idea, but I appreciate that you have a policy, you're fronting a policy, as opposed to just telling us, please vote for me, protest the vote. Okay, so if I protest, then why? What happens to the education system? What happens to the healthcare system? What happens to like everything around us, right? The infrastructure, like what's your plan? Telling people like, Chiyamba right? Me choosing to invest my time and, you know, share my views with you, as opposed to telling people like, when you get here, take umbrella. What is take umbrella? What does that even mean?
It seems like today everyone is a digital creator in some way or form. But how do you do it right? Welcome back to Originaires, the space where I talk to people who are experts in their field. And today, I'm excited to have Rhoda Musiima. Have I pronounced that right?
100%.
Perfect. And she is a digital marketer and she runs a creative agency called Phoscreatives Agency.
Yes.
Thank you for making the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
About time. Yeah, I was so humbled. Like, you know, when your team reached out, and I thought like, it's a yes, definitely a yes.
Definitely glad to have you. And also just to get into the conversation of not just digital creation, but advertising of it all. Because, you know, Kampala, Uganda, we're very entrepreneurial people, and everyone is trying to get their brand seen. I make an impact. I make sales.
I know, right?
Impact. So yeah, I'd love to get into that. It's you know, influencer marketing, something that became popular over the last 10 years, should I say.
Yeah.
Tell me about that and like how it started even.
Yeah. I think like advertising as a whole has in a way evolved from like what it was before to what it is to what it will be. It's just one of those industries that have a lot of nuances that keep coming up, and it's important for you to just keep like adapting and adapting. So specifically for like influencers, I think what unlocked the power of influencers was platforms just letting people be, for lack of a better expression. Because for as long as you were putting who you are on the platform, it kept drawing in your tribe, you know? If you're talking about, say, like looks, outfits, and every day you're featuring, this is my fit of the day, this is what I'm wearing, you know? It kept drawing in a tribe, people that have like keen interest in what you're sharing. So with that audience coming to you, it created a followership. So once like followership came into play, right? Audiences and audience segments, because people started even becoming more niched, focusing on for Instagram, this is what I want to talk about. Despite the fact that you have so many facets to you, right? You're like, no, it's just the fits, it's just the fits. And so with the numbers coming into play and these creators at the time featuring brands that people followed up on, and if someone asks you, oh, like, where are those jeans from? And you like plug the store, someone would actually go and make a purchase.
Right.
So that way, power started shifting and moving to them, to the creators. And then at that point, they just turned into influencers.
Yeah.
Because they were, in a way, influencing customer decisions. So it has also, in a way, evolved, I should say, because we had a time when numbers were everything. Yeah, I mean, how do you give me a list of influencers that have the K followers? Like, what are you talking about? Who are they influencing with 3,000 followers, you know? But now that has also shifted, right? Because we've also come to appreciate that one may have 500,000 followers, but the niche is not there. And probably I'm looking for someone that has an audience that speaks to mothers, so to say, but that audience doesn't have mothers. So I'd rather go to a creator that has 10,000 followers, but 99% of them are mothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that has also kind of shifted. So in advertising, things keep coming up because audiences keep evolving, and the pressure is on us to make sure that we evolve as the audiences evolve. Yeah.
So would you say traditional advertising is dead or it's still right?
I mean, haters will kill me.
I want to watch TV these days.
Yeah.
So is it still something that is worth investing in?
Yeah. I would not say it's dead. I would say it needs to evolve. Because just recently, I think someone was pointing out a radio ad, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were asking each other, did you listen to that ad? No, we did not listen to radio ad because we don't listen to radio, right? So what I mean by it evolving is radio was primarily audio, right? But audio has evolved. Audio is now a podcast. Audio is now online, right? So is your radio station sticking to what it used to air in 1994 when I was born, or has it been able to evolve into what I am listening to now in 2025, right? So that is one facet to it. The second facet is it needs to evolve to appreciate that audiences have become very segmented. Segmented in a way that they're segmented, first of all, from a generational standpoint, right? What my mom listens to is not what I listen to. What my little sister listens to is not what I listen to. So are you able to create for those segments? And the segments are broad. So you have to like just pick your pie.
Yeah.
You'll find that they're segmented at a spiritual level. They're segmented at a generational level. They're segmented at a cultural level. So you'll find that the media houses that have been able to kind of pick that up, like kudos to Next Media, are able to actually create channels that skip to those respected segments, because what we used to call like mass communication is no longer a thing. You can't do mass communication anymore. Yeah, because the audience themselves go where they want to go. Women have gathered themselves, podcasts, and consuming all this content. So has your TV station or radio station been able to pick up on that? Or otherwise, I think if they don't, then they'll be dead.
I'm glad you brought up again that fact about influencers, that who they talk to, and the fact that they will talk to very niche, very specific audiences. We were speaking earlier about the aspect of influencer marketing that was just like, awareness based, but now it has even evolved from that. Can you get into that?
Yeah, I think previously, influencers were great for creating awareness. If we wanted to get the word straight, we'd say, get us, influencers. So much so that we'd even started nicknaming them like noisemakers. Get us the noisemakers, because if we want to talk about brand X, right?
Yeah.
Let them, like, awareness was not an issue for influencers. However, on the business side of it, and that's why phos does what it does, because we take the conversation just off awareness to conversion to get an appreciation of, yes, we onboarded influencer X, but how much has the bottom line shifted? Have the sales increased because they're paying so and so 3 million shillings every month, right? So then we started tasking the influencers to speak a bit into conversion. Remember, at a certain point, we even had like referral codes, right?
Yeah.
You onboard an influencer and tell them, oh, tell your audience to use referral code X. But even with the referral codes, it became a bit difficult to track some of them because, of course, there is a spillover. Like you may see it on their page, but then you buy at a later point,
Right.
But now, business owners and us, the brand custodians, are zeroing in on awareness and conversion. It has to translate because think about a business owner. If someone is making baking cakes, all right. How many cakes? If you're the influencer and your bill is 3 million shillings, how many cakes do I have to bake to pay you?
Gotcha.
So it means that your noise, your awareness, your reach,
Right.
and that's why we actually stopped. We didn't stop, but we're kind of pulling out of reporting on like what we call vanity metrics. Vanity metrics, where we're looking at reach, awareness, likes, comments. It has to come down to how much of it has translated into business growth. So for us, at first, when we say we are your business growth partner, it means that we're looking at some of those things that we guide you, right? To say that onboard influencer X, right? Because having worked with her, like I was telling you about a campaign that we did with Prim, honestly, in like stories, and it was a stories campaign. It didn't even go in feed. It was stories. That girl is a powerhouse.
She is.
Like the comments, the responses, the conversion, So it means that I would rather go with that particular influencer because she's able to move my client's business. It's not just about the photo had 2,000 likes, but how many like both,
Definitely.
So that's that. It's not just about the news now. The business has to grow.
Yeah. How can you tell that the new influx of customers is because of influencer X versus just having, let's say, a good mark?
So what we do now, we have feedback forms that we put at the fulfillment point. So at say the client store, will encourage the customer experience person there to ensure that they're able to get feedback. And in those feedback questions, the question that is very important is, how did you get to know about brand X? So much so that we are, for one of our clients that's in hospitality, we are able to inform business decisions, right? Because when we looked at the feedback, close to 40% of the guests were coming through the website, right? Which meant that the website needed to be revamped, right? Because it means that the customers that are coming to you through this channel, right? So even for the influencers, if we say we have onboarded influencer X, we'll add the influencer as part of the channels. So that when people say, oh, I saw it on some, X person's page,
Right.
then we know, right? But we also know that there are customers that will not, give feedback to that detail. But with the data that we're able to collect, we can at least tell that there was a high because of influencer X, So that feedback kind of allows us to do like proper channel attribution, or to call channel attribution.
I'm curious about the inner workings of working with these clients, businesses that are trying to get their word out there, trying to get their business out there. What does it take for you to be like, how should I put it this way? Are they reaching out to you and saying, oh my goodness, we need help? Or are you identifying some that you're like, if I just got my hands on them, I could take them to the world? How does that work for you?
It's been such a blessing for me because I have not had to. At first, we don't bid. I know people say, oh, it's just millennials and Gen Z energy, but we don't bid. And us not bidding has not been that we don't want to bid. No, it's just that with the work that we've done for different clients, 100% of our current clients have been referrals. We'll do we'll get into a project, execute it well, and then that person will refer us to the next person. It's up until this point when we're like, guys, we've actually done so much work in the last 10 years. We need to talk about it. Talking about the work is what is triggering so many other clients and potential clients to reach out and say, oh, can you, do this for us? Actually, I'll actually use this as a way to plug into creatives out there that need to get into projects. Let them just reach out to us. Because now with the visibility that we have, we need to onboard as many creatives because we don't want to turn down supporting Ugandan brands at that. So we'd rather expand in terms of our team as opposed to turning the client down.
Speaking of that, I'm curious, which kinds of creatives do you need? Are they like voiceover artists, camera, like a photographer, graphic? What does it
I
look
would say
like?
it's 360 from what you've listed. Right from creative strategists, because I appreciate that there are creatives that are focused on strategy. So creative strategists, that's someone who will not say shoot the camera angle this way, or increase the aperture, but they have the strategic direction of what it should look like. So right from creative strategists to copywriters, to graphic designers, photographers, videographers, motion graphics, animators. For as long as you're on that creative spectrum, please do reach out. Why? I think it's important for us to support Ugandan creatives because interacting with a few of them, I can tell that they're those that do such great work, that have the least visibility and the opportunities don't get to them. I'll give you an example. Just October 8th, we did the Quality Chemical 20th anniversary. And as the account manager on, to the account, I felt it was important to give young creatives an opportunity to showcase, right from photography, videography, cake, event management, event coordination. They were young creatives. And oh my goodness, it was such a beautiful event. They proved my assumption that all young creatives need is an opportunity. It's access to an opportunity. And that is it. And that's why I'll keep I think even when I'm 60, I'll be that 60-year-old that's like, where the young creatives are. Because I think you just need access to opportunities on because as long as you can be that bridge, you'll be that bridge.
I feel like a lot of bigger brands are so focused on what's tried and true. Event management, we know this person has done for 20 years. Cakes, we know this person. So isn't it risky? Coming younger creative who maybe may not have as much
experience. It is risky, I'll tell you that. It is risky. I'll not shy away from the work that I have had to put in to pour into the young creatives that are under my wing. It takes a lot of sacrifice from a time point of view, from a knowledge point of view, because you'll find that you have to guide, right? It's like seeing a little star, a little diamond that's just coming to life, right? But at the same time, I remind myself that if I did not have people do that for me, I need to pay it forward, because these young creatives have something about them. They have an edge. I was just watching a TikTok of a creative that was thinking about, so if I send an email, can I send it with an audio? Can I just wrap my email? I mean yo, please find attachment, you see, that kind of mind needs to be nurtured and not suppressed, right? But that nurturing, of course, it's a risk because you're thinking to yourself, this person doesn't have 10 years experience management of this skill. But if you do not give her or him the opportunity, how will they get to the 10 years experience that you expect, right? And what I've also realized is that giving piecemeal projects allows the creatives to kind of prove themselves and build their muscle. Because then it's okay, you're able to review this project, give feedback, and then the creative just keeps getting better and better until you see them at a big stage. Oh my God. this is who you were the entire time. So we can't shy away from the risk, but at the same time, I'm always reminded that you need to give people an opportunity. The people that have 15 years experience won't be there forever.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I would love to talk about when you were a young creator.
Oh,
How did you even enter?
I keep saying it like I'm old. Yeah,
No, like, but like, yes, but like, that is young, but like, there is the you that was like completely green.
True. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. There are people that just poured into me. I love to just give them their applause. Helen Lugada, Smart Ads, giving like my first project. Lynette Bahizi at Adrenaline Warehouse. Idris Kamuli and Stella Khan at Mad. They poured into me, and I cannot take that away. As a young creative, but I think at that point I wasn't even a creative. I was a communication student from Macquarie University, you know. At the point of internship, I applied to like Uganda's top advertising agencies. Top. All of them, all of you guys, I applied to your organization, please. I did to get an internship opportunity. And it's because I was trying to put myself out there. I put an application at MAD, I put an application at Saladin, at Fireworks. I did apply, all in the name of, can someone just open the door, right? I didn't get the internship at any of those agencies, right? I ended up at Uganda Revenue Authority in a very traditional communication department. And at that point, I learned a very important value that I share with my teams today, that when you go for interviews, the person interviewing is trying to gauge if you're the right fit for the organization. But that part sheet is equally important. Right. You need to also gauge if the organization is the right fit for you. It's like a first date, you know? So when I did my internship there, I, learned so much about my corporate communication and packaged everything that I learned from there and said, thank you so much for the opportunity. This is not for me. Right. Because while you are a great organization, you're not a right fit for me. And that's okay, right? So at that point, I started just venturing out and trying to find a way in this advertising agency. I spent a bit of time at like Innovation Village, specifically Adrenaline Warehouse, where I was trying to like do some work and like betting companies, until I got a call from Mad McCann, and they were headhunting me to get on to managing the Coke account. And I was like, okay, this is big. This is huge. It's like a never before, And it was just pretty much from a referral because I'd done like a project for someone, pro bono. At that point, people are not paying you. And I think also young creators need to kind of know that sometimes we will not pay you, what you're worth. And that is fairly okay if you don't have the experience yet. But the reverse is true. You also need to get to a point where that this is what I bring to the table and you need to pay me my worth, right? So yes, I got a lot of experience at MAD. Then once I left and I was the digital lead. I joined Co-Create, the same position. However, Co-Create, it opened me up to the business growth lead, because it allowed me to interact with those clients now, where you say, okay, awareness, business growth. How are the sales performing? How many guests have you brought? How much money have you made, So that way you're now a business partner, just someone they've had to post on Instagram. Yeah, so I think as a young creative, I will not say that it was easy, but I do appreciate the people who showed us, people that carried me. Right. Because you always need someone to open that door. And that's why I'm like on this first foot of opening as many doors as well. Yes.
But I've fully been curious to go further back. What is it about advertising that was so shiny for you that had to have it?
Oh, there was an Airtel ad. I think Airtel did like a jingle and it had like all this choreography. It was a choreographed ad. I remember, I think at that point it was probably one read, but I remember the white t-shirts and the guys were dancing on TV. I need to find that ad. It was a worried ad. I would watch that ad over and over again until I would tell my mom, Mommy, sit there. And like at home, they know that I'm the kid that used to dance to ads. Sit there. Let me show you what they were doing. In that video. And I would dance for her, and show her. And I would do it so repeatedly. And I think just being a child, like you don't mind as many times you repeat a conversation, you know? At that point, I was like, what is this called? What is this called? So, you know, I didn't get to like feed into it much. But once I go to my career and found like an advertising module, I'm like, I have to do this. Dear, only for me to fail the paper.
Rhoda.
R.I.P.
Yes.
To that principles of advertising. My God. I was like, and I was just beside my head. How you I remember that exams were, I kept giving examples of Nike ads, Ugandan ads here, because like people know me that I consume a lot of like content in that space. I filled the paper. And then how am I on the age? Like now I'm 55. It won't make a date. How am I like on the edge of veterinary tech? Imagine.
Oh my God.
Somehow,
here you are. I mean, I think that's really crazy because if it were me, I'd love a sign.
So if I never say
I'm not going to what's it called? I trust the synchronicity. So if I try something and this store is closed, and you try to hear the I'll be like, maybe this is not
this is not for me.
somewhere else.
It's important to talk about like synchronicity because I'm also a believer of synchronicity. I try to like follow patterns, you know, but now I'm also getting to the point of I love synchronicity, but would it also have like a con? Would it be that it kind of preempts things before you know, they fully blossom? Because sometimes it's very easy to pull the plug. You pull the plug on something, you pull the plug on a project because you're like, no, because of 1, 2, 3 red flags, I'm out, I'm done, you know? And yet, if you had maybe given it like one extra month, something you'd come out on the other side. But I do love synchronicities. I think you can't be a strategist in my field if you're not able to observe and study patterns. You need to know that you know, like I'm here, I'm very observant. Like I've seen the flowers, I've seen the paint, I've seen your colors. Like I've paid attention, like you're wearing white heels. So if at any other point I get to this person, I'm like, okay, I love their colors have the phos colors as well. Like I'm already creating a pattern. And like, okay, you know, like the gentleman like Hassan that linked us, connected us. I've been talking like I can already see the synchronicity, you know. But then I'm like, you know, at some point, if you follow synchronicity when it's great, you cannot rely on it. You can preempt something where it comes together. But, you know,
I mean, it's really the thing. If someone was getting into the involved space today, they're like, you know what, I think I have this personality. I want to put it out there. I have this business maybe that I can push alongside it.
yes.
What would be your advice for them, like starting point? That'd be?
My advice would be to first define the value that you deliver, right? Because there's so many creators, there's so many founders, there's so many businesses. Like if you think about how many bakers you know, how many you know, manufacturers of different things that you probably already exposed to, right? There's so many, but it's important for you to find like what's the unique value that you bring. Why should you need to ask yourself why should a customer pick up your product?
Right.
That's the differentiator. It's not about price. It's not about product, as people have been told. It's not about place or promotion. I was recently interacting with a client that I'll pitch to next year, Aine Gadgets. And in that interaction, someone was saying, "Oh, we can't wait for Christmas festive promotion." I said, No. He does not need a promotion. Why? Because his customer experience is great. His products are great. They live up to the quality of what he has promised. So he doesn't need a promotion. He just has to leverage that value that he brings, to the customer, and that will immediately differentiate him. You'll find that, the easiest way to push up for someone to start, they'll probably go like, "Well, let me do a buy one, get one free." So that people get to know me. Yeah. But we'll get to know you for the period of time you're doing that discount, But when you come out and tell us that I am doing, say, I'm selling skincare products, and with my skincare products, they're able to bring this value to you. Maybe they have like natural ingredients. What is unique that's part of your story that we can fall in love with? The other component that I really want to spotlight is for the founders to also tell their stories. Wow. How did you start? Actually, I think looking at some of the social media trends as of like last week, traction has moved from influencers and content creators to founders. The founders are the new influencers because the audience has asked, who is behind this beautiful piece that I have in my home? Which has now tasked the founders to step up and say, I'm the founder. This is how I started. These are the challenges. And that kind of makes people fall in love with you more because then you've given us like a more humane story as opposed to buy one, get one free. So I think if someone is, there is more trust, And I think if someone is honestly starting out, they need to think about what the differentiator is. Think about the channels that who they're targeting, right? Are you targeting women? Are you targeting men? Are you targeting, Gen Z? Are you targeting millennials? And then just pick like two platforms. If you're looking at social media, pick two social media platforms. Yes. If you're looking at social media, let's start with like two social media platforms. It's based on your business, like having a website is important. Ensure that you have like maybe a site or a WhatsApp number. Slowly by slowly, start like adding on to the platforms that you're present. So that it's better you're optimized on two platforms. By optimized, I mean your customers being able to find you as opposed to being on the entire spectrum of social media platforms. And when we try to search for you, we are met with like all these, search results that have nothing to do with what you offer. So I think having interactions with some people that want to start up businesses, I think I can say that just those like few tips can help the founder or the business owner to kind of start telling their story. Interesting. And I think speaking of storytelling, there's an online campaign that we could not stay away from. That was when Zohran Mamdani was running for mayor for New York. Yes. Like, in Kampala. Like, I was watching on my TikTok or on Twitter or something like that. So I'm curious what that means, like digital creation for even the political space. I think it means having a strategy and having a team that is able to craft that strategy for you. Knowing your point of view. I followed his campaign, I think, up until some point. But you could tell that even when they were asking him about like the change that he wants to bring, he was really in tune with the issues that New Yorkers were facing, right? So he's highlighting things to do with transport and why it should be more affordable, to get around the city. He's highlighting all these governments, like the spend. And he's saying, why are we spending that much on these different, components? Why he was asking, I think, one of his opponents, like, why are you spending this much on people that are suing you, right? You're spending money on a lawsuit, money that should be spent. And those are taxes, right? So I think just looking at his campaign trail, there is an evolution or a growth in the voters that is looking for policies, right? what is it that you're saying? I may not agree with your idea, but I appreciate that you have a policy. You're fronting a policy as opposed to just telling us, please vote for me, protest the vote. Okay, so if I protest, then what? What happens to the education system? What happens to the healthcare system? What happens to like everything around us, right? The infrastructure. Like, what's your plan? And I know I'll probably get like a bit of backlash on this one, but I think the issue with so many Ugandan politicians, just from a communication standpoint, is while they may or may not have their manifestos, they do not communicate those manifestos with clarity, right? Yeah. They just latch onto like a particular tagline and run with that, as opposed to telling us, the electorate, that you need to vote for me because these are my thoughts on women. These are my thoughts on children. We may not agree with all your thoughts, but we appreciate that you've taken time to think, and I think that's what made Mamdani like so popular. Because he was speaking into issues and presenting solutions from his point of view. He was often questioned on if he's qualified to lead. And that's the anomaly, right? You find that it's not about you being qualified. It's about what you think. And that's what we're feeling now. Right. Like just tell us what you think, because you have the courage to tell us. The rest of us, we don't have the courage, but you've got the courage to share what you think, and we'll connect with that, right? As opposed to telling people like, do this. Also appreciating that we are the Y generation. My nieces and nephews, my dear, I can no longer tell them like, move that cup and they move it. That has to be followed by a reason. Like, why? Do this, why? So us being the Y generation kind of also means that the reason has to match up. You can't just do this. Why? You need to give people reasons. I think that is something that really pushed his campaign forward. I wish I had a photo of him, but it's not posting. I thought I'm posting pictures of him, with him. But anyway, I'm so happy. And I'm trying how that kind of translates also for us. I think if we can pick up on his campaign, just learn a couple of things.
Because I think of the younger politicians who are getting into that space and even doing a lot more digital marketing. We kind of looked at Abraham Z. And how he is, using.
I was such a fan of him. I was such a fan of him. I think I was like the A of was. Almost on the S. I think I like how he kind of just shook the tables and with being so self-aware in terms of his contribution or his potential contribution to the political scene, and telling people like Chiambamwe, me choosing to invest my time and share my views with you, Chiambamwe. And then also that his thought of like telling the sake, I think was great, because so many campaigns have been moved by politicians giving people sugar, giving people 5K, 20K. And that is like the cheaper way out, because you're buying the vote in essence, but you've not presented policy, you've not presented things that matter. And so even listening to him, I'll say for sure that it's not to say that I agree with everything that he says. No. But he has done an excellent job on articulating his views, or articulating his point of view, right? It could be that thought of, do we agree with him or we don't agree with him, right? But in terms of just shifting the political landscape in Uganda to give, his audience a sneak into what his thought process is, what he thinks should change, as opposed to telling people like, when you get here, tick umbrella. What is tick umbrella? What does that even mean? For my children that are going to come after me, what does it mean? So, and I think that is something that has actually affected land corporate elites from going out to vote. Because the question is, like, you can't just show up and like, what do you mean?
Because like that kind of thinking or that kind of campaigning is it's like it's dumbing down the audience.
Exactly.
They don't understand what they're working for.
Exactly. And exactly that, And yet the audience is saying, our shops are flooded downtown. What's your infrastructure policy? You know, I cannot get my goods in because of the taxes. What's your tax recommendation? You know, give us something to chew on and think about and process. And I think I was sharing with Anya that so many people may like disagree with like the NRM government and say we want to change. Well, there is probably a need for transition. The bigger question is transitioning to what? Right. What's the plan? Because we can't just walk in light. And I think that's because I'm like a strategist. So I keep thinking about like what's your strategic plan for the nation? You know, how are you going to refine the
important question?
Yes. How are you going to refine the education system? Right? How you, like and just say at the end of the day, even being an advertiser, those things affect our audiences. Because it means that when I'm profiling you, I need to pay attention to your income, to what your take home is, to your purchasing behavior. So if I do not care about like the political landscape, my audiences are going to be frustrated. Because it means if I present you the product, you will not buy. I don't have money.
People cannot buy, really. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's only right that we ask for better policies, even how they're communicated, and put some of those people accountable.
Yeah. I'm curious what it takes to create or to have a viral moment.
Yeah.
Is it by mistake? Is it just something that you happen upon? Or is it something that you can strategically
plan? I'll say that for our market, a couple of things just happened. That you say you're ting, someone records a video of you, and the whole country falls in love with how big your eyes are and how humorous they are and how you say things and they come out funny, you know? Or you've like, you know, created a song in studio and it connects. Everyone is like dancing to it. I'll say that some of those, for many cases, it's always a by chance kind of thought. And that's why the longevity is not taken care of, because, you know, we will dance to for like 3 months at most. And by that time we're done. If I play the tape, I'll be like, okay, what's a good song? But you know. But now, from a strategic standpoint, there is also the thought of we can actually plan these viral moments. We can have these what some people call like guerrilla marketing. We can create those guerrilla moments that just like transform and drive the conversation. I'll give you an example of one of our clients we did a video recording for just recently in October. And the thought was, can we give people like a sneak look into what happens here? Because yes, people know that you make life-saving medicines, right? But no one knows how big these machines are. No one knows how high your escalators are. No one knows how like the work that goes into, you know, even how big the factory is. And so we decided to like shoot a video, and it was as simple as, just imagine a regular Ugandan has walked in here, like an everyday Ugandan, just give them a walkthrough. And that was the purpose of the video. And we uploaded it like in the evening. The morning of, it had close to 60,000. I think now they've been more than like 100,000 views on that particular video, with so many comments. Is this in Uganda? Where is this located? How is this in Uganda? How come I didn't know this? You know? Now that is like a strategic viral moment, a viral moment that is informed by strategy, which means that now that we have like eyeballs, we're able to respond to all these people and then even have follow-up content. We're now unpacking, you know, it's like an onion, right? You peel off a layer, peel off a layer, and peel off a layer, right? So that it's not just viral.
I mean, okay, like given the example of Kasese Giant and very viral song. If you were in that strategic position behind the scenes where you're like, okay, we have this viral moment. Yes, we have all these bookings for performances here and there and everywhere. But how do we make sure that 5 years from now people can still recognize us and recognize the brand?
Yeah. I think if I were their manager, I would say, one, how long do Ugandans take to chew onto a song, right? At most, they'll give you 3 months if you've done an excellent job, right? And then I would say, can I tap into that creative juice and release another song? Because I know they'll spend like 3 months, at most 4 months, enjoying a song, right?
Yeah.
But that song, that particular song, would have used it to introduce you as an artist, right? So it means that you need to have something ready for them to chew on equally as great, right? And then at the same time, I would want to package them in a way that brands can connect with them and spend money on them, right? But also I would want to help them appreciate the power that they wield. Being the number one, the trending song on TikTok, the trending song in markets outside of Uganda. That's a lot of power. Having companies from Dubai reaching out to them to say, come visit us, do your, just dance here and we'll give you a bit of money, right? But you see, that company will reach out to you because of that song. You need to give them another hope. And another hope. Give them a reason to keep you, all right? And then also in terms of pricing, I fear that so many people get viral moments, but they don't know how to price. We're inviting you to perform, but your prices look like any other artist's prices, right?
Because I think that transition of like an overnight success is jarring for a lot of people. Because you're like, last time I was performing for 20K. 200 transport. Yes. And then now this band is offering me 1 million shillings. I've never seen 1 million shillings.
Like I've never seen 1 million shillings in my life. I don't even know how to count 1 million shillings.
And yet they are worth so much more.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that promoters, I know that promoters are like the strategists of the music industry, because they'll see an opportunity and immediately say, we need to put up a music competition. We need to put up a concert. Because they can see the opportunity. I think that is where they come in. But as a market, we need to empower people. We need to empower people to stop living small, stop living in a very apologetic way. Because if something like that happened, from an empowered standpoint, you'd be like, no, I know what being viral means. I know what it means for people to play my song in places. I know what it means for me to be on the stage of like Cancer Run. I know the power I wield when I do this and everyone is doing this, But because the people that go viral don't even have like that school of thought, they are often paid like peanuts. And it's the same thing even with the guys that create. If you don't know the power that you wield with your creation, you're paid peanuts, Yeah.
Because I'm curious about how we can change that, because a lot of times someone will come up, content creator, they're doing it themselves. It's a one-man job. And so once the opportunity comes, they're not thinking about working with an agency. Or if anything, they'll see an agency as, you guys just want to be the middleman and to take money. And yet, it could also allow them to multiply their money, their value, in a more intentional direction.
Yeah. I think for creatives that are running solos, one, defining what like your pricing structure is, putting your packages together in a way that you're delivering exactly what that client can afford. So that you have like a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. If a client is not able to afford like your tier 1, they can smoothly move to tier 2, right? So that then you're not put in a position where you're undercutting yourself, right? Saying that, I'll still do this work that is worth 5 million Ugandan shillings for 200,000 Ugandan shillings. I think creatives need to start thinking as business owners. Because at the end of the day, what they're aiming for is to build some form of entity that is able to even run without them, right? Defining those tiers is important because it also allows the creative to be tamed. Because there are people, when they start shooting pictures, they will shoot, even give the client more than the, I'm getting it.
But we're doing what we love. Yeah.
Yes, because we're doing what we love, we don't mind, you spend more time, you know. But if you have like your structure, your packages have been structured, then you know that this client will move from tier 1 to tier 2.
Right.
And then you even have an opportunity to like stand your ground and say, well, I appreciate the opportunity. I think based on your budget, this is where you're at. And I think something that we also need to learn as Ugandan creatives is to ask clients, even I'm learning that, what's your budget? Yes, you've reached out that you want X service, but what's your budget? You know? Because we always end up putting in so much work, especially like in the pitching. And then the client says, no, but we have no budget. But what do you need? Because you listed, exactly, because you listed like all these things that you want, and we told you how much it will cost you, but now you say you don't have a budget. Creatives really have to like evolve and also think as business owners, so that they're able to create even systems that protect them.
We definitely need that kind of protection. I'm curious how it is working with different clients, because I know people are complicated.
They told me about it.
You know, it's like one day person like this, wants to see
I've had to invest a bit of time in understanding how they think, but looking at them from a human to relating with them from a human to human point of view, because that allows me to take away the titles. It allows me to put away head of marketing here. I don't know what here. And then us defining a common goal, I always try as much as possible to ensure that I understand you as a client, and then we have like a common goal. There has to be a bit of synchronicity in what we're aiming towards. But understanding you, I immediately profile the client. With interacting with you, I can tell, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you a choleric? Are you a sanguine? Are you a phlegmatic client? Are you a melancholic client? So that way, when I'm interacting with you, I know my client is a melancholic, which means that I cannot push too hard for feedback. I need to push once or twice, give them time to respond. Then I'll know I'm dealing with a client who is a sanguine. She'll talk and talk and talk, explain the same point, repeat the same point, repeat the same point, right? Which means that I need to listen. Sit in silence. You know, let them talk and talk and talk. And that also means that I need to put a cap on the meeting. I'll set a reminder. Because I know my client is a sanguine, right? If I have the talk about phlegmatic, I'm coming.
I did myself. I'm not a personality test. But I found out I'm a phlegmatic.
You are. It's the calmness. Yes. So I'll know my client is a choleric. You know, cholerics will lead, and now being a choleric myself, when I meet a client who's a choleric, I have to tap into because I'm mostly a choleric, but I also have like some melancholy. So if the client is like 100% a choleric, I'll tone down and tune my melancholic personality so that we don't clash. Because we are unlike, you know, exactly that. Then you meet a client who is phlegmatic, calm as water, cool, calm and collected. You know? But the thing with phlegmatics is they have their point of view, but they will not fight in the war to get their point of view across. So when I'm interacting with them, I need to always be like, oh, what do you think about this thing? What's your view on this piece of artwork being presented? Because, you know, she's a phlegmatic. She will not like come out automatically and be like, no, I think that. No. But also phlegmatics take time to make decisions. So it means that you need to give them enough time. Those are clients. So we usually have like timelines in terms of how you turnaround time. How much time do you need to brief for us to give you? Phlegmatics, you have to give them like 2 weeks more because of how they work. You can't rush them because when you rush them, you kill the process.
That's so interesting.
And phlegmatics are very process oriented. They're not bored. their process. Step 1, we have done this.
Right.
Step 2, we have done this. So understanding the temperaments unlocked like client management for me.
Yeah.
Because then I didn't treat it. I don't have like a one size fits all.
Right.
Because all clients are different, just like human beings. They're different. So when I'm dealing with you as a phlegmatic client, I know I need to give you things much earlier. We need to plan out the year. There are clients where you don't have to like over plan, but there are clients where I'm like, my client is a phleg.
Yeah.
My client is a phleg. She needs to see the whole year.
Yeah.
End to end. You feel like, you feel like,
Yeah. Like, oh, this is so weird. You know, like, you know how sometimes like you do something, because even when I took that personality test, it's not one that really stuck with me. There are others that really I meet with a lot.
Yeah.
But even as I work, I find that I'm like, okay, I'm like this and not. I see other people are a lot.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
You see others running, and you're like, why are we running? That's a phlegmatic. So like, where is everyone heading?
running to? Yeah,
you go. Yeah. Can we first analyze this at piece? And phlegmatic, you just
the part that you spoke about that really resonated is the fact that you have to ask them specifically what they think.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally the type of person who will be like, no, it's
you
fine.
say it's okay.
Like, everyone is fine with it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, move with it.
Like,
but then I have thoughts.
And views and brilliant ideas. And the other trick when you're dealing with like a phlegmatic client, the clients that I will say, it's okay, let me send you that deck in advance.
Sure.
We can leave this behind.
She knows what she's talking about. Yeah.
Because I know that you need time to even
reflect.
Yes. Filter your thought. That's why actually, even I think we're discussing passions and I was saying like I love people, I love connecting with people. If a phlegmatic friend gave me advice, I take that to heart.
Because
a phlegmatic friend, if they told me that is wrong, and funny, I'm surrounded with like so many phlegmatics and then our colleagues, and because I'm a choleric, so we are different. I take that advice to heart because I know they have thought about it.
It's like about it.
No, it's not. A phleg will think about something. If they send you a request, it's a request, my friend. So it makes client service. I feel like maybe it's also something that, client service will need to be empowered. Because make relationships better.
Yeah.
It will make relationships better. They don't have to fight. They don't like fusion.
Right. Because, oh my God, like, as a creative, I've also ventured into my own like freelance stuff.
Yeah.
And you find someone and you're like, okay, what's the goal? And like really fail to find the same footing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is there's a stereotype about Rashiga.
Yeah.
We are very blunt.
So
I'm like, I'll say this.
Yeah.
And then we find ourselves, and I'm just like, it's not how it's supposed to be.
I need to package it.
Whatever. So yeah, agencies like yours, I feel like are very necessary because at some point I was just like,
we got it. Yeah, with time, as you keep interacting with so many different yes. Even as because at this point now we are also in a process growing, so we are starting to interact with people in different markets. So we are also learning how people in different markets interact. We know that people in like European markets and like the Americas are very swift. An email is equivalent to a WhatsApp message. You should respond to it promptly.
Not business hours.
No, not business hours. Because their culture treats email like a direct message. Yet in our culture, I have to first settle down, breathe in and out, respond to an email. So starting to interact with people even outside the video now, it's also allowing us to keep track of such nuances. Because those are like culture differences, right? We don't respond as fast to emails, yet on their end, it's like I've sent you an email, respond. And then also in terms of time spent creating, they move quickly. We are so slow in Africa. They move fast. They make decisions quickly. They will not think like I remember interacting with someone, and they were pitching themselves to one of our clients, and they asked me a question: have you had enough to make a decision? In the middle of them pitching.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Do you know that guts it takes for someone pitching for a job? Ask, have you had enough to make a decision?
Should I tell you more?
Should I tell you more? I was so beaten. I was blown away. I just said, please tell me more. But I was already hanging with the question of, how dare you? But it's because time is like their priceless resource. So they would not want to spend hours and hours on the call with you if you're not, if first of all, you're not like understanding what they're saying, or you've already made a decision. You know, it's not a good fit. Then like, no, in the first 10, 15 minutes, you should be able to tell.
Yeah.
So you don't waste another 15 minutes of their time.
For real. Yeah.
So some of those things we're picking them up at post because we're now interacting with like people, outside of Uganda. But all those kind of allow you to become like a better partner to someone, because then you know that this market, was what you're doing, this was what's the marketing is an SMS.
I'm also curious, what does phos mean?
Oh,
PHOS.
yes.
Yeah.
PHOS. It's a brilliant question. Phos means light.
Okay.
So
like
yes,
the suffix like photo.
yes, like photo. Yes. So it means light, and our origin comes from us being the light of the world, us having the personality that when we enter a room, we're able to light it up with ideas. We're able to not hold back, who we are, because that is what light is. Light doesn't hold back. When you switch it on, it's light. It's there, and it fills the room, and everything comes to life. So we believe that we have been called to share that light with all the people that we create with. That's why we don't hold back when we're creating with you. You may onboard us for, say, digital services, but because we've done a bit of brand building and we have that muscle that is growing in building brands, we'll keep sharing ideas with you that speak into how you can build your brand, right? We also have another arm that does like strategic partnerships. So because we have, gathered all these networks across the board in different industries, we will not hold back and say, no, the contract only says that it's digital marketing. No. Because our focus is on your growth, your business growth. So if it's strategic engagement, we'll keep shooting things your way, to present you to the world and try and bridge as many gaps as we can. So that is what light does. When you light up a place, everything comes together, everything communicates. And so phos, yes, it does mean light. And we have been super blessed to even have representatives. And these representatives, we have two of them. One is based in Boston and one is based in Swindon. And the idea is to have Ugandan communication representatives in those markets.
Right.
So that comes back to our point of how we're able to push Ugandan brands further, so that they're able to. So those representatives scout for opportunities and are able to also bridge the gap. Our other representative is in Michigan. We just concluded a project early in the year. But the idea is that for everything we can offer, and that is what light does. Light does not hold back. It's light. The beams beam, like it's light. So for as long as we can pour into an account, a brand, a project, we will do that. Yeah. So for us, I think we're at a point where we know what we bring to the table, that we also know that yes, you may pay us X amount, but you cannot fully pay us for what we bring to you, Yeah. So that's who we are.
Interesting. Like that came everything together.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What is your biggest goal when it comes to the long term? For you specifically, not just
me, not the company. Me. My biggest goal is to share who I am share who I am and what I know with as many people as possible. And my goal is to build that kind of legacy, because I know that legacies are not numbers, are not brands, are not, it's just the number of people you've touched. So if I'm able to share everything that I know about different things that God has given me, things that I pick up from places, books I read, podcasts I listen to, for as long as I can pour myself into another person, I sleep peacefully. Like that is my goal, goal of the lifetime. And some of us have been able to connect with, we talk about brands, but those are people. Those are people. So for as long as I'm able to do that, I live a full good life. And that's why I think from hitting that 10-year mark, I said to myself, look here, say something. Say something. I had so many conversations with my friends where I'm sharing my perspective on this, on politics, on branding, on comms. And they keep saying, but why don't you put these things out there? Just open your mouth, switch on the camera, and let the world hear what you have to say. So that's my goal, to share my point of view and empower as many people as I possibly can in this lifetime.
And also, I see on your page, you love to give a lot of tips, a lot of tips and stuff. So if anyone needs to know where to start from, or what mistakes to skip over, got you. Links will be in the description.
Yes, guys, please come visit. I my photography team and videography team is just going to step up, because I have so much to say. And well, I know that for sure I have invested in perhaps getting this knowledge. I'm not so keen on people investing in getting access to it, right? Because I know that God enabled me to get that knowledge for a reason, but it does not mean that everyone has to pay for it. But also, with the impact that I want to see with Ugandan brands, I need to be the enabler that holds the flag and says, look here, your brand is not just your logo. It's about how you treat customers when they walk into your store. Because we complain a lot about bad customer care and experience, but who taught them? Has anyone taught them on how to respond on WhatsApp? Has anyone taught the person in Chipobo that you don't send a voice note when you're speaking on top of your voice? We complain so much about things, but yet no one has taken time to teach, to nurture. So I'm going to give I can give tips and nuggets, because at the end of the day, I want to ensure that when people meet me, they're able to learn something, I'm able to learn something from them. And then we just keep growing and pushing the envelope further.
No, I always say when it comes to even business in Uganda, there is rarely a blueprint, and yet the Ugandan market is so unique. That you cannot just read a book that is written from a very Western perspective and apply it. Or you can't you get it. So such conversations that's also
they're so necessary. And you talked about how diverse and how different it is. And it reminds me of the need to also maintain connections with people that make Uganda, right? So your border guide, you talk to your border guide to pick up on what he's saying. Is he updating you on the conversations that were taking place at that stage? Are you spending time with children to understand what's happening at school, who their friends are, what is driving their lives? Are you spending time with moms to understand so what's postpartum depression? How are they dealing with it? Are you talking to doctors? Insights are important for business owners to track. And simply put, an insight is something that is undeniably true about a community, about people, something that when you said X, X, no one can say, no, it's Z, or women like to go to the salon and have conversations. That is undeniably true. People say no. We all know it's true because it happens, right? So even as you're building a brand or a business, you need to keep track of those insights so that you're able to connect better with your audience or your customers.
Okay. Wow. Insight.
Wow.
So I think the note that we can wrap this up on, you have left us with so many gems. There's so many things that I'm just like in my personal notebook and I'm not my head, I was marking down. I was like, okay, this, that, whatever.
Yeah.
So like I think for anyone who has watched this fully, they have gotten a lot. Thank you for this free consultation.
Oh, well,
Thank you. So,
yeah.
well, thank you
I'm
for
happy.
that time.
I'm happy I could, join you. And thank you so much for creating a great platform like this one. Because I also appreciate the time, the resources, and the mind it takes to create a platform of this kind, because at the end of the day, also trying to like share, give people an opportunity to, share their different points of view. So that can also make, like, we can't underplay that, like don't play it in any way, because you've taken, your time is such an important resource.
Yeah.
Time is not money. I think there's time is not money. Whoever said time was money lied, and they're the biggest liars on this planet. Time is not money. Time is more. Time is a priceless resource. So for you to spend hours and hours, creating this, that's, that's just so important in terms of like what you want to put out. So thank you so much. You're already started. Yes.
Yeah.
Talks a lot.
Okay, then, guys, see you next week. If you like this video, there's more where that came from. You could check out this video over here or even the channel itself to see what else is there for you to watch. Okay, see you next time.